My wife said, apologize to my stepson or divorce. So I grabbed a bag and walked out on them. My wife snapped, apologize to my son or we're getting a divorce, like she was sure I'd fold. We were still at the table, plates half full, and Dylan was leaning back with his phone in his hand, smirking. He was 26 and hadn't worked in over a year, living rent-free while I covered his car insurance, phone bill, and every I'll pay you back expense. I'd only said, you should start looking for work. Nothing harsh. Dylan laughed and said, at least my real dad didn't abandon me like yours did. My dad died in a car accident when I was 17. Dylan knew that. Karen knew that. Karen didn't say a word. She just kept cutting her food like Dylan had talked about the weather. I stood up and went to the sink because I didn't trust myself to speak. The faucet ran, and my hands were shaking. Karen followed me and said, apologize to him right now. You made him uncomfortable. I turned and said, he just used my dad. Karen rolled her eyes and said, you embarrassed Dylan. Stop making everything a fight. Dylan appeared in the doorway, still grinning, like he was waiting for me to blow up so he could call me crazy. Karen pointed at me. Say you're sorry, she said. I felt something in me go quiet. I said 3 words. I'm done here. Her confidence drained fast. Don't be dramatic, she said. Then louder, come downstairs. From the dining room, Dylan laughed like this was entertainment. I went upstairs, grabbed a duffel bag, and started packing. Shirts, jeans, chargers, whatever my hands touched. Karen stood in the hall, blocking the doorway, repeating, you can't just leave, like it was a rule she could enforce. I zipped the bag, walked past her, got in my truck, and drove off before I could talk myself out of it. I ended up at my buddy Ray's place. He opened the door in a bathrobe, took one look at my face, and just nodded. Couch is yours, he said. That night my phone lit up non-stop. Missed calls, texts, sweet at first, then angry, then desperate. Karen wrote, come home and fix this. The next afternoon, I went to my credit union. I told the woman at the desk, Linda, that I needed to protect my accounts during a separation. She explained how to freeze joint access and stop new charges. While she was printing, she paused and said, there's something you should know. 2 days before I left, Dylan tried to charge about $6,000 on our credit card as a down payment on a 22-foot boat. The charge got declined because we didn't have the limit, but it triggered a fraud alert. Linda slid the alert and a dealer form across the desk. Dylan's name was on it. No asking, just my money. I felt my stomach drop and then get weirdly calm. I asked for copies of everything and put them in my folder. By that evening, Dylan called. His voice was high and panicked. My card isn't working. Karen's isn't working. We can't even get gas. I heard Karen in the background, saying my name like she was trying to keep it sweet. Then she took the phone. You're being vindictive, she hissed. This isn't like you. The old me would have caved just to keep the peace, but I kept seeing her face at the sink, ordering me to apologize while Dylan mocked my dad. I said, I froze the accounts. You two aren't using my money like that anymore. Karen snapped. So you're punishing my son. I said, I'm stopping him from taking more. Dylan grabbed the phone and said, it was a joke. You're so sensitive. I said, my dad isn't a joke. He tried. Fine, I'm sorry, okay? It sounded fake, like he just wanted the card back. Ray sat next to me and said, if you go back without real changes, they'll learn it works. 2 weeks later, we met at a mediator's office. Karen showed up with Dylan like he was her backup. I brought my lawyer, Tom, and my folder. Karen started with a shaky voice. I was just trying to protect Dylan. You've changed. Walking out was cruel. I said, you gave me an ultimatum after he insulted my dead father. I listed the bills I'd been paying and how long Dylan had done nothing. Dylan tried to laugh it off, but the mediator told him to stop. Tom slid the fraud alert across the table. The room went quiet when Karen read, boat, and saw Dylan's name. Her face went pale. She turned to him. You did this? Dylan shifted and said, it wasn't a big deal. I was gonna pay it back. Karen shot back. With what money? Dylan stared at the carpet. The mediator asked what I wanted. Karen jumped in fast. We can work it out if you just come home. I shook my head. Normal isn't something I want to go back to. Not that house. Not that setup. I looked right at Karen. Dylan moves out. Finances stay separate. And you stop choosing him every time he crosses a line. If not, I'm done. Karen stared at me like she was waiting for me to soften. I didn't. I stood up, told the mediator to start the paperwork, and walked out. Behind me, I heard Karen say my name, sharp and scared. But the door closed and I kept walking. Now they're saying I went too far freezing the cards. Was I wrong?